a Firkin awesome way to finish off the year than to double up with two creations from a true legend and gentleman of the whiskey industry, Mike Collins and his Firkin Whiskey Co brand. Our malt of the month is the hot off the boat latest expression of the Firkin Ten, a Madeira finished 2010 vintage Linkwood, aged or finished in Mike's hybrid casks for 2 years. And for the most unusual news of the month, maybe even the year, one of the Firkins we're offering this month is not a whiskey at all. It is a rum, none other than a Caribbean pure rum distilled in Trinidad and Tobago and released to the world just this month. Now, we're pretty proud of that because it was actually our other club, the Rum Tribe, that launched this Firkin rum to the world earlier this month, and we'll talk about that just a little later. Now, Linkwood is a Speyside distillery whose spirit is mainly used in the production of blended Scotch whisky. The vast majority of Linkwood ends up in either Johnnie Walker or White Horse Scotch whisky. Only 1 or 2% of the distillery's annual production makes its way to the shelves as single malt whisky. And the vast majority of that is through Mike and indie bottlers like Mike and his Firkin Whiskey Company. And Firkin's signature, I guess, is to finish Scottish whisky in custom-made hybrid American European oak casks that have been seasoned with fortified wine. The Firkin Ten series signifies a 10-year-old whiskey prior to Mike's finishing. So, what we have here is a 2010 distilled Linkwood single cask whiskey that has aged for 10 years in the Linkwood Bond store before being recast into a Madeira-seasoned custom Firkin hybrid cask in 2020 for a further 2 years of finishing. Bottled at 48.9% with absolutely nothing added other than some pure water or any chill filtering. Whew. And here it is, just off the boat. The colour, yum. The colour is nice and rich and red and coppery. On the nose, it's rich and deep oak, and there's sort of more floral than fruitiness there for me. There's honey hints, nutty nougat, and there's biscuit spices well represented too there. Palate. Yum. Lovely, luscious and oily mouthfeel. It's an initial burst of just the right amount of pepper to offset a nutty, peanut brittle sort of sweetness there. There's spicy fruit mints here, but it's certainly not the star. Nutty caramel and sort of black coffee notes steal the show for me. It's a fantastically Morris finish too. It's peppery, oily pulses, burnt sugary sweetness, yet there's somehow it's palate cleansingly crisp at the same time. Delightful, but I think that Moorishness seems to find me impatiently sipping another dram before I let it play right out. It's an abso-freaking-lutely sensational whiskey from a man who has been creating sensational whiskey for 50 years. This is one of those open it with a mate or two, and next thing you know, it's all gone whiskies. It's so good. Yum. Now, Mike Collins' work in Scotch whisky is both iconic and award-winning, I guess you could say. But that's not to say whisky is his only trick. Mike's rum credentials are no less impressive. He was helping supply the Royal Navy with rum in the early 80s, working for 𝐋𝐞𝐭'𝐬 Speed, a company that had its start supplying Admiral Nelson's ships with rum at Gibraltar. In fact, Mike's first sales job back in, are we allowed to say it, Mike? Sorry, 73-ish, was selling cask strength rum to the Royal Navy at Portsmouth. Mike has distributed 𝐿𝐥𝐴 and Puss's rum in the UK, and he knows his rum, let me tell you. Which brings us to our members extra for December, the Firkin Rum. A first for the Firkin Whiskey 𝐀, and a first for the Single Malt Whisky Club. Why, you may ask, are we offering a rum? Well, as the 𝐼𝐿𝐾𝐡 says, simples. You see, we also run a fine rum club called the Rum Tribe. It's uncannily similar to the Single Malt Whisky Club, let me tell you, only its focus, as the name suggests, is rum. Rum from all around the world. Rum from Australia. Rum from traditional rum producing areas, and I guess world rums from unusual places not commonly associated with rum production. Does that sound a bit familiar? Well, it should, because we modelled the Rum Tribe on exactly what makes the Single Malt Whisky Club so good. Rare and exclusive fine rums with all the information about what you are drinking. And the Firkin Rum first edition single cask is just that. This is a pure rum, which is a blend of column and pot still rum from a single distillery. This one from Angostura Distillery in Trinidad and Tobago. Tropically aged for around 6 years at the distillery itself, then moved to Scotland and transferred to one of Mike's custom hybrid casks, which had previously finished a Speyside whisky for 18 months. Then it's been bottled with no chill filtering and absolutely nothing added except the pure water to bring the ABV down to 43%. The Rum Tribe was proud to officially launch this rum to the world earlier this month, and we just felt it right that we let the Single Malt Whisky Club experience this delightful rum that comes from an old mate as well. And just how good is it? Well, that's what's left of my sample bottle. I was road testing it with an old mate on the weekend when I suddenly remembered, just in the nick of time, that I needed some of it for this video. So, yeah, happy birthday, Daniel-san, and that's what's left. So, on the nose, licorice and cloves and brand new leather, all drizzled in melted butter. And the palate, palate is thick and satisfying mouthfeel with very little pepper. It's sort of a spiced fruity mince, marzipan, ginger nut bickies, allspice, vanilla, and some candied citrus peel with more of that butteriness in there too to boot. The finish. Lovely, long, luscious, rolling sweet waves of caramel, aniseed, biscuit spices. It sort of exits curiously crisply, and there's a nice mild astringency in the jowls there as well. It's an absolutely Firkin brilliant first edition rum from the Firkin Whiskey Company. It's sort of fruity Speyside whiskey notes bumping up against traditional creamy Caribbean caramelly and licoricey rum qualities. At 43%, it's perfect for sipping over ice on a stinking hot December day, as I'm doing at the moment, and totes killer with your favourite mixer. So that is a wrap for December. A Firkin ripper of a month, with the lovely 2010 Linkwood Madeira finish, single cask, our malt of the month. And just for something a little bit different, our members extra is the world exclusive launch of the Firkin Rum first edition from the Angostura Distillery in Trinidad and Tobago. Wow. Next time I see you all, it will be 2024. So until then, have a happy holiday, a cracker Christmas, humongous Hanukkah, or a fabulous Festivus. However you do it, just do it with friends. I'm Brad Ryan. Till next month. Till next year.